Hey, how's it going, everyone? So we got a flood of Guilty Gear information last night during the stream. Not only did they reveal two more characters that's going to be coming up at Arc Rebel for that demo, but they also actually showed real-time gameplay, answered a lot of questions, and we basically kind of have a feel now on the very first version of this game and what's it going to be like. So, what do you think so far, Killy?
Um, mixed feelings. A
As
lot of
expected.
the pro players in the Guilty Gear scene kind of have negative first impressions so far.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I mean, like we knew that they were going to make the game more accessible for sure. So we had to see the kind of extent to that, right? Because when every time a fighting game developer says that, everyone gets a little uh oh.
Yeah,
So now
yeah,
we kind of see what kind of angle they're going for.
yeah. What they meant when they said that.
But I personally, on my side, I'm not too crazy. Like, I thought they're gonna go even more further on the casual side, like more on the DBZ kind of direction. But it seems like a lot of mechanics are still intact, but they have dumbed down those mechanics as well. So, uh, we're gonna be talking about that soon. But first, let's talk about the two character reveals, Killy. They revealed Chipp and Potemkin. So still no
Yeah,
like characters that we haven't seen from Exard. I was expecting maybe a Testament or something, but it seems like they're just playing it really careful and just having a good balance of different characters for that first demo.
yeah. I think it's more of like get people focused on the gameplay mechanics rather than like new characters.
Mm-hmm.
So, playing it safe here, which is fine.
Yeah. So what do you think of we'll just go through each character just real quickly. Like, what do you think of Chip so far? On how he looks, like he's got that turtleneck now, and
I really like the new design actually.
yeah,
Surprisingly, like the new design and his animations are just like honestly all the characters. Their new
oh yeah,
animations and their new designs are all sick.
mm-hmm,
I love it.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, like just from a visual standpoint. Oh my God, like Chip looks so cool now. Like, and they finally added more animations to that rapid punch super he used to have.
mm-hmm.
So now they added like a whole bunch of new animations to it. He's got like shadow clones going. It looks super sick now, instead of like the little janky like million punches that he had
It's like a
going
montage of his
beforehand.
attacks. I mean, it kind
Yeah,
of has like answers, like kind of clones with him and whatnot.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So from a visual standpoint, I'm really happy what they did with Chip.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of his moves are intact
Mm-hmm.
from the previous games.
Mm-hmm.
I won't get into like gameplay specifics of like the changes they've made to him, but
Yeah.
from the trailer, that was it was really cool.
Mm-hmm. And as for Potemkin, he doesn't look too much different. I mean, until you actually see the gameplay, like his stance and all that. But for the most part, he looks similar, compared to like Chip, I would say.
It's the same design from Xrd basically, but more details, and then like you get to see more details on the face,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks more like mechanical.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then and his animation's also beautiful too. Like he's doing heat knuckle, and you get this like the rotating like um I don't know, on his gauntlet he's got like the bullets coming out and stuff like the
Mm-hmm.
bullet shells and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
it's like rotating like a revolver basically. It looks
Yeah.
so sick,
It
man.
does look really
So
cool.
sick.
It does. And like both characters, their supers, the animations are really really lovely. They look really
Yeah.
great. They're
This
hilarious. So
the stages in this game, oh my God. They look so beautiful.
yeah, they
I
showed a
couldn't
lot
believe it.
more. And dude, the
Like
amount of transitions to these stages, there's so much to show too, right? Like
yeah,
it
like the
constantly.
stages are not just like set in like one area. Because of the stage transitions, you have like more parts to the stages themselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like the winter stage that they're showcasing, oh man, that looks so good.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
But
well,
yeah,
let's get into the meat and potatoes because that's what people probably want us to hear. Want to hear the most, right? I don't know. I
yeah,
don't know where we're gonna start here. I guess let's just start with like the UI and the menus and the controls real quick. I guess that's
okay.
the best way to do it.
So the UI, at least the in-game UI, like the HUD and stuff like that, that's clearly like pre-alpha or maybe alpha stage.
It's like a placeholder too, basically.
Yeah.
Like, come on, it's not even. Yeah, they just needed something.
It's not even done. It's like it's like when SF5 first got revealed and had all those placeholder things, and everyone's like, "Oh man, the UI looks so bad." It's like, dude, it's not even finished.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like this isn't even like a proper HUD. This is like just placeholder information.
Right, right.
So that's the way I view it. So the menus, though, when they're showing the move list, it has like a video that plays to show you what the move looks like, a description of what it does, all sorts of stuff. Obviously, the names are like placeholders. Some of the new stuff have like placeholder names, so that's fine. But just the fact that they like show and explain how to use each move is like really important. Like
It is.
drives in the message of like what they were trying to achieve originally, which was like helping new players. And that's really important. So I like that.
Right. Like they're trying really hard to just kind of teach people in every angle they can. You know, it's not just going into tutorial to find out how to learn. Like, but even just going in the menu itself helps you in some way, right?
Yes.
So it's great. They're always trying to figure out new things. Like they're always trying to set the bar because they had a really unique style of doing a tutorial, and now we're seeing the menus as well, which looks a really nice touch.
The character select screen I think is probably placeholder as well. A lot of it looks unfinished. But the one thing that really stands out is they've categorized the characters now.
Yeah.
To like power type, balance type, speed type, tricky type, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Did you see the Photoshops of that already? There's some good
no,
ones.
I haven't actually.
They had one that's like waifu, and one that shows it's like Kai, and it shows like the 4 different looking Kais from all the Guilty Gears. It's pretty funny.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
It was good. Yeah, I mean, once again, it's still to teach you, right? Like, what kind of character do I want to play? And you look at all the different categories, right? So.
Yeah.
I
don't know if I'm really liking that kind of concept. Like I get it from a beginner aspect, but I also I want some artistic design within the character select screen, right? So
Yep.
I feel like categorizing it kind of removes that. So we'll see what kind of happy medium they can strive here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the controls were interesting because it looks like most of the controls are intact. We got our punch, we got our kick, slash, heavy slash, and dust. But there's a few just tiny differences. Do you want? So.
You might have to cover that because I can't remember. All I remember is like there's new macros.
Right. So okay. Well, for one, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but now you're able to press forward and L3 on the PS4 to do a dash, an air dash or a ground dash. Did we have command normals before an Exard like macros?
Command dashes? No, not like that. So
okay.
This is new.
Right.
Which is.
And the other change was instead of going forward and heavy slash, I think for a throw, it's now forward and dust.
Yes. So this is new as well. And throws have whiff animations, and they're not 1 frame, so they will lose the meaties now.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I guess that makes sense why they switched it to dust in that case with those mechanical changes. That kind of makes sense.
Right? Well, the big one is throw OS as well.
Mm-hmm.
That kills throw OS because remember, if you try to do a throw OS with dust, you're gonna get burst.
Oh right, yeah, makes sense. Okay.
But I mean, you've got an actual throw animation, like a throw whiff animation. So I'm pretty sure all the OSs and stuff like that, if were eliminated just by doing that.
Mm-hmm. So control-wise, it's not too different. So everyone will be right at home on controls. But now we should talk about the mechanics where there actually is a lot of changes. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I guess we can start with the Gatling system if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so from the stream they had on the English side, they said that your punch and kick can Gatling into heavy buttons. So if you're using punch, you can only cancel into punches or command normals. So you can't go into punch into slash or punch into heavy slash. That's not if that was a Gatling option for the character.
Okay.
Right? That doesn't exist anymore. So I'm kinda not liking that, to be honest. I do like the Gatling tables of old Guilty Gear games and being able to free flow your block strings a little bit there.
Right. It's definitely some kind of limitation to make it the combos not as long, right?
Not necessarily combos as well, but like block string, like pressure
Right.
also.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. But like, I'm actually surprised by that because you'd figure they'd want easy, like ABC kind of combos to start
Yeah,
off with, but it doesn't seem like it because there's like it's limited, right?
yeah.
On the amount of hits on your Gatling. Okay, what else do you want to talk about mechanic wise? There's a lot to talk about.
Um,
We'll just go one
yeah.
at a time.
Okay. So dash into faultless defense still exists, but they said you could block mid dash without using faultless defense. So that's a decent change there.
Okay.
Grounded normals are air blockable. This is a big one, a very big one,
Mm-hmm.
because um, before grounded normals were air unblockable. You had to actually faultless defense to be able to block
Yeah.
normals in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is actually really big because this makes up backing. It could make up backing strong unless there's more pre-jump frames.
Right.
But not only that, it's like um, it's part of the decision making. Like when you're air teching or even like um, deciding to jump out of pressure or whatever like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to use faultless defense just to avoid taking damage or getting anti-aired, for example.
Right.
So the fact that that's no longer there, that removes a layer of interaction and decision making. So this
Right.
is removing depth from the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what replaces this is that when you're blocking, so first we should say the risk gauge is returning.
Yeah.
So if you were blocking too much, your risk gauge builds up, and then like after a certain uh, amount of risk, you get force counter hits, right?
Right.
So now to replace the to air unblockables, when you're blocking in the air, your risk gauge gets cranked up faster.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've said before that the risk management is really going to be focused on in this game.
Okay. Interesting.
So this is a very interesting change,
Yeah.
and we'll see how the risk gauge kind of plays into this. But without having the FD, like that's taking away a layer of depth as well, like the decision making of that. Now to lead into that, air teching doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that was huge. Like it's gone.
That's
it's
gone.
it's gone. So we don't really know how it works now, right? Like what are the limitations of the attacks? Is it gonna be like Marvel where you kind of reach a certain threshold and they kind of just flip out? When you flip out, you obviously don't have a choice of which direction you go. So it's kind of odd, this one.
Yeah. So part of it's like, okay, what kind of untech time do you have on normals? Like how the juggles are gonna work mid screen. Maybe with the way untech time is, they're just gonna like there's a limit to how much you can juggle them before they just fall to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
um, so again, this is removing a layer of depth because if you're juggling them too high, they have the ability to tech out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in the older games, and there was tech chasing,
Yeah.
and so there's a decision of like, do I tech right away? Do I delay my tech? Do I tech forward? Do I tech neutral? Do I
Mm-hmm.
tech backwards? All that's taken away now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a layer of decision making and depth, and again that ties into air unblockable normals where you have to FD. So when you're teching out, do you push buttons? Do you tech into FD? Tech into a double jump? All that's gone.
Right.
So again, there's another layer of depth removed.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this work now?
Right. Let's
But
transition to the Oki now
the,
from there.
yeah, so the knockdown system. 2D is giving you a knockdown like usual.
Yeah.
But other moves that have a knockdown, like for example, Soul's Bandit Bringer, those kind of moves forces a back roll.
Mm-hmm.
So now it doesn't necessarily kill Oki. We'll have to see because maybe you still get pressure or something like that. But I guess like traditional Oki of getting maybe setting up Oki like a fireball, for example, into a high-low mix-up.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably gone now from that. Obviously, like in the Soul example, I mean that affects his Oki game because before he would do like air bandit revolver, get a knockdown,
Yeah.
and now he can jump and do either a late air dash or an empty low. That's gone.
Yeah. And
So
all the knockdown timings are the same now too. Like
yeah, so they
different counter
said
hits.
that they've standardized knockdown timings, but they said there would be like different timings based on how you got knocked down. I'm assuming like face up, face down will have variable timing, but will be standardized between the characters.
Yeah.
So that one I'm not too torn about. Like that one is fine. That's something I figured would happen. So that one's okay in my opinion. It's not a big deal. But yeah, like force tech on other knockdowns is a big thing. So it changes up the flow of gameplay and also changes the style
Yeah.
of the game, right?
It does.
So we'll have to see if people can create Oki from that somehow in some form or matter.
Let's
But
talk.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, let's talk about the dust attack. How that's been changed now.
Yeah, so 5D, they said they made it faster. They removed the flash effect that they added in the Xrd series. So it's harder to react to. And then it doesn't, you don't get the dust follow-up unless it's a counter hit.
That was an interesting change.
So that's a very interesting change, and I think that kind of plays into the risk management, because once your risk gauge is really high, you get a force counter hit.
Right.
So 5D force counter hit into a follow-up kind of thing. So see how that goes,
Right.
how that plays out. Looks like 5D also knocks them farther back, and you don't get like a follow-up regularly. So
Right.
it's an interesting change, very interesting.
Right.
Not sure how that'll play out.
Because like Guilty Gear is always supposed to be a really aggressive game, right? Like their entire
Yeah.
meter management revolves around being aggressive. So when they're adding all these defensive options and lack of offensive depth by getting rid of, making it so you're able to roll, making it so you don't have to air tech, things like that, they're trying to figure out ways to compensate it by adding the amount, by putting a bigger focus on that risk gauge, right? If the opponent is overly defensive. And when that risk gauge is full, like that dust attack becomes really scary because, like you said, they took away the flash effect and sped it up. So if you get hit by that, you're gonna take a lot of damage from a universal overhead.
So there's another thing. Damage output right now is really high. Like small combos are doing a lot of damage. And this is kind of like, this is what we see a lot when new fighting games franchises try to reinvent themselves. They usually like tone down the combo system, but then increase the damage output. Like we saw this with SF5. The combo system got simplified, damage output went way up. So this is what we're seeing right now again.
Right. Because once again, you have to compensate somehow, right? Otherwise, you're gonna get, it's gonna be like Street Fighter Cross Tekken, it's just timeouts every round.
Yeah.
So
jab timeout.
Right. So they're increasing risk gauge, so counter hits are getting scarier, and raising the damage. Like obviously these people haven't mastered the game yet. We don't actually know how big the combos are, but it did, like you said, really simple combos did a lot of damage in general.
Yeah. So now there's the wall splat. They kind of changed some of the wall splat. So corner combos, it looks like after 3 or so hits, they get wall splat. And then if you hit them while they're in this wall splat state, that's what triggers the screen transition. But like it looks like people were getting loops, easy loops in the corner. Like I saw Soul do something into Gunflame like 3 times. May could do like 3 dolphins in a row. For the next hit would do a screen transition. So seems like okay, mid screen the combo, regular combos without roaming cancel is very short, but then the combo system kind of opens up a little bit more when you got them in the corner.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, the roaming cancel system. Yeah, they really kind of overhauled that a little bit.
I'm glad it's back though.
Yeah, so the way they handled it now is like it has like a hitbox kind of like when you're roaming canceling an attack. And then if the hitbox hits the opponent, they get affected by a slowdown, and the slowdown is actually visual because it has a little clock on the screen. and then that lets you do your, and so it slows down the opponent, and then you can follow up your or extend your combos that way. Neutral Roman cancel seems like a similar thing where they have to be within the radius of it to be affected by the slowdown. From the sounds of things, anyways. So I wonder if this is kind of like their answer to Wire C. Wire C slowdown was kind of really powerful in Xrd, so air dash Wire C and stuff like that was like really strong. But it seems like that kind of this kind of change would kind of kill that kind of thing because the opponent has to actually be within the radius first to be affected by the slowdown.
Right.
Unless I'm misinterpreting something here, but yeah, so that's a big change to the Roman cancel system. They removed dead angle attacks. So dead angle is kind of like SF5's what was it?
V
V
reversal
reversal.
or alpha
Yeah,
counter, whatever.
or alpha counters. They took away that. Instead, they replaced it with guard cancel, Roman cancel. So you can Roman cancel while in block stun, and it kind of puts them in like the stun state and stuff like that. It also slows them down and whatnot.
Did we see that in the footage?
Uh,
Or
it
they
might
just
have been in the
talked about it?
stream. I think it was on the stream, in the Japanese stream. They showed it.
Do you remember? Was it what color was it? Did you see? Was it purple?
Um,
I have to check that
I
out.
think it was yellow. All
Oh,
the
really?
color schemes are
Okay.
different now, right? Because neutral Roman cancel was like blue or something like that,
Right.
and there was like purple ones as well. The
Yeah.
red ones are still intact, and then
Right.
I think the guard cancel ones were yellow, but I
Okay.
have to go back and double
I'll
check
have to
that.
check that up too.
So that kind of change is a little bit interesting. I have to see whether they're baitable and punishable kind of thing.
Right.
I do like with dead angles, like there was a balancing factor around dead angles. Certain characters had bad dead angles, and I think that was perfectly fine given their tool set. Now, it depends on like how the balancing was. Like obviously dead angles weren't properly balanced between characters. I mean, Excerpt sign Milia, her dead angle was ridiculous because it knocks you down right next to Milia, so she gets to set up Discoki right off the bat,
Oh, okay.
which is kind of ridiculous, right?
Right.
So certain characters having bad dead angles and stuff like that, this kind of like now evens it out between all the characters.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, is that going to be a good balancing around that? I'm not sure.
Right, because Street Fighter Five kind of has these kind of small issues with V reversals as well. Because like a character like Rashid, like you can't have like a knockdown V reversal because it'd be so insane. But then you have characters like Kadeen that have it. So you
Yeah.
have characters like Cammy and such. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like if you just make it a flat out the same for every character, then certain characters are going to benefit more from them, right?
Yeah.
And it seems also like they were scared obviously to have too many mechanics in the game because a lot of people were saying it's bloated with mechanics. So now they want to still have dead angle, but they don't want to just have a new mechanic called dead angle, and they're trying to merge it, right, to help new players kind of get a grasp like, oh, this is just part of the Roman cancel system and how to use it. But it's actually,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're trying to merge mechanics together.
So yeah, it's strange.
Yeah.
I get what they're trying to do with it. I have to see it in play. Oh, it can be done in the air too. So this is new. You can't dead angle in the air, but you can guard cancel, Roman cancel in the air.
Okay.
So it also feels like there's a part of Blitz kind of mixed into this as well. But I have to see how this is in practice.
Right.
But from initial glance, I'm kind of like hesitant on this one. But
What do you mean by
again, we'll have
blitz
to see.
though? Isn't blitz like a focus attack? Like it's the
It
offensive,
is.
right?
So it's like it's an offensive defensive mechanic, right? Because you have to time it. But it's just like the fact that they kind of get put in the stun state is why it reminds me of Blitz a little bit.
Oh, okay. I guess I gotta check that one up.
Yeah, it was definitely shown in the Japanese stream. I don't know if the English stream showed it off or not, or talked about it.
Anything else mechanic wise?
The counter hit system. That has like the dynamic camo, so some counter hits would like zoom in, and then you got this big counter hit in the background of the screen. It's like really intrusive. the way the whole works, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like,
You
it's
didn't like
just
it? I
super.
thought it was kind of cool, but I understand. I can understand it. It just aesthetically it looks cool because it's like counter it. It's like really flashy. The
Yeah, it's
whole
like really,
game.
really flashy, but like I don't need a big counter hit sign in the background. Like I think it's just super. Some of the things in the UI is super intrusive, like the burst icons like bouncing around in the background. I'm just like that's super
the the
distracting. There's a lot of
characters.
things that are fine or distracting. Even the combo counter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's huge in the
Oh
background. It
yeah,
feels
dude.
really intrusive to me. And from me personally, I don't want it to be that big. I get it, like, okay, at least everything's on the screen for people to see, but it's just like it's really big. Like they could shrink that down.
Right. I like the camera does move a lot, but it wasn't as crazy as I thought it would be from watching the trailer. So the camera constantly spinning around and having shaky
Yeah,
cam.
it's like certain things that trigger certain to those dynamic cameras and stuff like that. Throws do it,
Right.
um, but
But
yeah, counter hits do it, and then the like ending a round will do that.
like visually they're trying to give as much information as possible. Like you said, the combo counter is really huge. The counter hit is like it's just based in your face. And then we got the avatars in your health bar actually move with your health bar. Like it's
Yeah,
like a race. And the game has massive hit stop. It's still a fast game, but it has massive hit stop on everything. As soon as the attacks start landing, it's very slow, and visually, both players will know exactly what's kind of going on,
yeah.
so to speak, and like sure
Even block, right? Like block stun is looks like
yeah, tons of
cute,
hit
like
stop.
very meaty or something. It looks very satisfying. The block stun looks very satisfying.
Hmm. And even like you said, with the when you roaming cancel, you can actually see the clock on the screen.
Yeah.
Kai, he has some kind of debuffs in the game now.
Yeah, so this is kind of cool mechanic they have of Kai. So apparently all his lightning moves, like his projectiles, if one block, they like have a visual effect where it's like debuffing the opponent, and apparently it like makes them build risk gauge faster than usual.
It's like Persona, kind of like just kind of
A
in
little
there.
bit, yeah.
Yeah, in there. Oh, we didn't talk about the instant blocking. That was another concern you had.
Yeah, okay, so instant blocking does not change the frame data of attack. So when you instant block attack, it reduces the block stun of an attack. So something that's like, say, +2 on block. If you IB it, depending on the attack level, which is a whole separate mechanic there, it would be 0 or -1 on block. And that's huge,
Hmm.
right? Because now you've created gaps where you can challenge. But doesn't do that. It just builds you meters. So now um, this puts a heavy emphasis on how they do the frame data on normals and specials.
Hmm.
Because now you no longer have the ability to create gaps in pressure.
Right. So it's like
To
they want to reward the good players for instant blocking, but not give them not enough advantage where new players get absolutely mauled for only knowing one stream, for example. It's like they're trying to give them something, but not. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to close the
yeah,
gap a little bit on it for sure.
I mean like right now in Xrd, Slayer block string, close slash far slash, very common one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no gap in between, usually plus on block. But if you were to IB close slash, you can blitz far slash. You've created a gap.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that anymore.
Right. Right.
Well, blitz doesn't exist as well, so they took out blitz, which is whatever. But I mean, little things like that, right?
Right. Right.
You can't do certain things. You can't challenge. You no longer have challenge points. But now, that begs the question of like, how are they handling the frame data on block, like block advantage and stuff like that? Because
Mm-hmm.
that changes everything. That changes how you do your balancing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a minor thing, but it also like it removes some interactive depth. Like faultless defense still exists, and it still does the same thing of pushback and increasing. Um, I think it still increases block stun. I'm not sure. It removes chip damage like usual, but I mean faultless defense still exists, and but it's like a
Oh,
lot of these changes like changes the interactions.
speaking of which, chip kills.
Yeah, they don't exist.
They're gone, guys.
Chip damage still exists, but not chip kills. So
Yeah,
no checkmate situations.
that's weird. No instant kills. I didn't see.
Yeah, not yet. I'm sure they'll add in.
They probably need like a ton of animation work for those first though.
Yeah, so I'm not concerned about that.
No danger
I
time.
mean, Soul didn't even have Dragon stalled yet,
That's true.
so it's like everything's still really early.
Rated
They
R.
said they said there was no stun, there's no stagger, no blitz, no
Yeah,
demo.
no stun. Interesting.
Um, I don't think that one is like as big of a deal.
Okay.
No stagger. Again, I don't think it's as big of a deal as well.
Okay.
So I don't think it's that big of a problem.
hmm
Um,
Like when you say stagger, is that like when the joystick goes left and right and you have to?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So certain attacks would cause stagger, but like those two things. I'm not too terribly concerned. Plus, it's still really early. They could add it in later on.
Mm-hmm.
No blitz, not surprising. No
Mm-hmm.
danger time.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Yay!
It's gone, guys. It's dead. It's
No
finally
fake
dead.
hype. It's gone. What else? We hit a lot of mechanics already, man. Uh, I like some of the cool move changes for Chipp and Potemkin. Like Chipp, he's able to run up walls now, which is really cool.
Yeah, that looks cool. I mean, you could hit Gamma, like Gamma Blade,
Yeah,
he
Gamble
sends
got
like a
nerfed.
clone.
It got
But it got nerfed because it's like really slow now. He sends out like a shadow clone to attack. But you can hit the shadow clone and
yeah,
it does damage to Chip. It's like,
yeah.
what?
What? That's kind of weird. Potemkin has armor now on that slam he
Slide
can,
HUD, yeah.
and
Um,
and it's blockable. You can block it. It hits low, and it's blockable now.
oh wait, so it's not unblockable when
Mm-mm.
you're
It
crouched?
hits low.
Wow.
But they said like say someone throws a projectile at you, you can armor and use it to punish
Yeah,
zoning
yeah.
still. So that's interesting. That move where he grabs in the air, that move is not
Oh yeah, that's
on,
blockable
yeah, it's
now.
blockable now too. So a lot of interesting changes. Hmm. Hmm.
It's very weird. Like some obviously like they're trying new things. It's very adventurous with what they're trying to do
Yeah.
here. Um, Obviously they're still looking for that balance to satisfy new players and
Right.
veteran players.
Right.
But there's a lot of concerns from the competitive player
Of
base here.
course. Of course.
So we'll have to see in November in Arc Revo the demo and see how that plays out. Flow wise, I mean, it still looks like Guilty Gear, like it
Yeah.
still looks fast paced and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the depth that the competitive player base know is missing.
Yeah.
So not sure how that's gonna pan out in the end. Obviously, a lot of this is just initial impressions. People need to get their hands on it. They need to develop the meta, but this is
Which
still
you will.
really early.
You'll get your hands on it,
I'll
Killy,
get my
soon
hands on it, but
enough.
it's still really early. It's still a really early build of the game,
Mhm.
so um
But now you're
uh
emotionally prepared, Killy. Because I don't want to see you go there and then you don't know what you're expecting. You're like, oh no,
yeah.
Guilty Gear. Now you know what you're gonna end up. Man, you already know how to play this character before you even get there, probably.
I mean, the English stream did a really good job. They showed all the character move lists
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's pretty nice. I'm sure Arc System is going to release a lot of this information beforehand.
yeah, and I hope you guys don't think we're sounding negative about it. I'm personally very excited for the game. It's just that Killy is a veteran, and he loves Guilty Gear because he loves the amount of depth and mechanics that are in the franchise in the first place. But Daisuke made it very clear that nothing in the game is final, absolutely nothing, and I am very glad that they were very transparent on showing us such early gameplay of the game and getting feedback as early as they possibly can, so they can change things. It's not we still have a long ways to go. This is pretty much alpha footage. They don't have the UI, so I wouldn't be too concerned about it. From the casual standpoint, people are hyped, Killy. The
I
casual, they
mean,
better be
I'm
hyped.
still optimistic about it.
Yeah,
Things can change. We'll see. I mean,
yeah,
there's feedback. Hopefully, um, the competitive player base are really concerned. They can always go ham on the feedback forums
yeah,
and hope some of the feedback gets taken into consideration.
yeah, definitely.
Um, Yeah, and then they also said like they'll continue with their announcements of announcing new characters bit by bit, like
Yeah,
during events and stuff. So I still think their marketing strategy is brilliant here.
it's good. It's constant. It's a constant flow, man. Every month we hear
Yeah,
something.
so you're just getting a constant flow of information. You're seeing your new characters. You get that new character hype going, and leads into the next reveal. Like everything they're doing marketing wise is really smart. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like I'm very impressed with what they're doing. I wished a lot more fighting game developers did that because we really didn't see that from a lot of developers.
Hmm.
So I think ArcSys is like knocking it out of the park right now.
I really hope they have a beta for this. I want to get my hands on this too, man. I really
So
want to play.
there's a closed online beta that they announced in
Oh.
spring 2020.
Oh. That's still a while, but
Yeah.
hmm. Interesting. Okay. Oh,
So
somebody asked about the netcode as well, because a lot of people have concern about the netcode.
yeah, so everyone obviously is like rollback. Please include rollback. GGPO is now like free or something like that. I
Right.
forget what they did
You don't
exactly,
need
but
to
it's like
license it.
it's like readily available.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like, okay, we've heard the Japanese side of the stream said we've heard a lot of the concerns about netcode, but we're not able to say anything right now. So it's like we're still in the air, but it seems like they're aware of the situation.
Right. So at least
So
they know.
we can only hope, cross your fingers and just like
That's a big deal, man. Because like I said, like even if the game is perfect for people to dive into and get into, the netcode always makes and breaks a fighting game, man. It's so
yeah.
important. They have to get that right.
And like I can understand like simplifying the mechanics also plays into the netcode as well, because if you're trying to instant block and online, it's like
It's a nightmare.
it can be pretty tough on higher delay latencies. So
Mm-hmm. Cool.
um yeah. So huge info dump.
Yeah, man, a massive amount of information. But like I said, it'll make it so much easier now when you come back from Arc Rebel, so we don't have to, you know what I mean, go through all these mechanics one by one. So it's kind of helpful that we got a little earlier than expected. So I'm happy
Yes.
about that.
Yes.
That's cool. Okay, man. I think we've explained enough. This video is getting pretty long. Guys, let us know in the comments below. I'm really looking forward to your guys' comments on this. I'm really curious what you guys think from accessibility standpoint, from an aesthetic standpoint. What do you guys think about how the game is shaping up so far? And if you guys haven't dived into Guilty Gear before, are you now reconsidering it after seeing the actual gameplay footage? Let us know in the comments below, guys. Killy, always a pleasure. And
Yep.
yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.